Alright, what's going on, guys? Hope you all are doing well. So today we're going to be taking a look at Halo Infinite, and you guys are going to be seeing gameplay of the technical preview that I was invited to play. It's super important to keep in mind that this isn't even really a beta, or it's not even an alpha. It's like a pre-alpha, more or less. It's a way for the devs to sort of test things out and, basically see what works so that the launch is as smooth as possible. But nonetheless, we did get our hands on the game, and this is also going to be coming from somebody who used to be a very massive Halo fan, but over recent years has definitely, kind of fallen out of love with the game. If you're anything like myself, I spent an ungodly amount of time playing Halo 3. I played quite a fair amount of Reach as well, but when it came time for like Halo 4, I played a little bit of that and then fell off, and Halo 5 I maybe played for about 6 seconds. So this is coming from what you might call an ex-Halo fan, and I know there's a lot of curiosity right now going around about Halo Infinite, so I wanted to give you guys my perspective from somebody who really hasn't played a lot of Halo games in recent years, because I'm sure many of you fall into that category and are wanting to know if this game is worth getting back into. So if you guys enjoyed the video today, a like rating would be greatly appreciated. Also, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. That would be awesome. So I'm going to get into the gameplay in just a second, but I feel like I should mention the performance first and foremost, because like this isn't one of those things, because it's a technical preview once again, I'm willing to excuse a lot of the like maybe performance issues. This is literally why they're doing it, so they can sort things like that out. But as far as like what I was playing on, I'm on PC and I'm using a 3080. Not gonna lie, performance was a little rough at first. After some settings changes, however, it seems to play a lot better. It isn't, I think, fully optimized for the particular like specs that I'm playing on just yet, but I'm sure that will be, sorted out in the future. But all in all, performance wasn't too bad. As this game is going to be made with the new Xbox in mind, I'm sure the performances between this and console are going to be quite similar. So the first thing gameplay-wise I want to discuss is probably one of the most controversial features, and yes, I'm going to go there. I'm going to talk about sprint. So in older Halo games, a lot of the maps were designed in a way where you physically didn't need sprint, right? And that, as a result, let the maps be slightly smaller, but they didn't really play like a small map exactly. In later Halo games, they made the maps significantly bigger, but with the addition of sprint, you were able to cover that ground just as fast. So in a way, it is essentially an illusion about how fast you're running in Halo. Sure, you have sprint, and technically your player can move faster, but you also have more ground to cover, so you're not really moving faster than older Halo games necessarily. In Halo Infinite, you can sprint, obviously, and you can also slide, and I found that the sprint is barely faster than your walking speed. This is something that could be changed later on, but it's not very intrusive. Map size, to me, felt a little bit more classic, with obviously that slight, increase in size to compensate for sprint, but you barely get a speed bonus, and honestly, there's not really much point in sprinting in most cases, it seems like, in this game. You have to remember, sprinting also puts you on the radar, it seems like, in Halo Infinite, so it's something that you want to use sparingly if possible. Generally, I thought the movement system in this game is pretty solid. You can basically chain slides into a jump after and get like a little bit of a speed boost, it seems like, and you can use this tactically to get around corners and whatnot. Honestly, depending on how the rest of the maps are made and how they're developed, I feel like this game could do without sprint. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to have it in it. I literally don't care. But what I'm saying is the game wouldn't play that much different without sprint, I don't think. The power weapons are interesting, and a lot of the, like classic ones return, but it seems like some of the power weapons are literally just almost reskins of the ones that already exist. I will say this, the sounds for all of the weapons are very solid. Like, they sound real, like they're not too video gamey, and they're very satisfying to land shots with as well. A lot of the weapons that you'll recognize, like the AR and stuff, they won't sound exactly like they maybe used to if you haven't played Halo in a while, but they're like a little bit more modernized version of that. They're not too big of a deviation from the originals. With the gunplay, there really isn't a better way to describe it other than it feels a lot more like classic Halo. Halo 4 and Halo 5, for me specifically, definitely started to feel foreign after a while and wasn't even really like playing the same game, but this seems to be a bit of a step in the right direction as far as like the grassroots feel of the gunplay of Halo. Now, one of my biggest criticisms of this game so far is the arbitrary way the radar seems to work right now, and maybe this is going to be something that's adjusted in the future or is, slightly different, but basically it doesn't seem like the radar ever will pick anybody up unless they're sprinting. Typically, radar will pick up on any movement that isn't crouching, but in this game it seemed to be wildly inconsistent. Sometimes they would just appear on the radar as per usual, and sometimes they would be standing right in front of an enemy that would just never appear unless they're firing or or sprinting, it doesn't seem like I could ever find them. And maybe this is just some whiplash after not playing Halo for quite a while, but it definitely felt the radar was like somewhat of an inconsistent system. Now, as far as abilities go, because this is another quite important thing for Halo players, this isn't something that you like apply to your Spartan, you get them in game. So in order to obtain other abilities like getting the shield or active camo or thrust, you need to find these around the map, and you pretty much fight for them like you would any other power weapon. You're given a prompt on screen of where it is, and you'll also get a like voice in game telling you which ability it's going to be and what location it's at. When you have an ability, you don't have to use it immediately either. You can take them with you until you want to actually apply them, which is a really nice change. It's also nice to see that both teams can see exactly what that ability is and who picked it up, and so you know what you're up against potentially if your team didn't get it. The other thing I feel like I should mention is I'm pretty sure in this game, like when it's actually out, all of the like casual playlists are going to be AR starts. That will be the weapon you begin with. Now, I do think for competitive and for ranked, they're going to be BR starts. It's a bit of a divergence from some of the more recent games because if I'm not mistaken, I think they were pistol starts for like ranked and competitive. But generally, one of the biggest questions for this game is it enough to bring back maybe potentially old Halo fans who just haven't played this in a while? I think, at least from my perspective, this is a nice change of pace, especially if you weren't a fan of some of the more recent games. At the end of the day, it is Halo MP, so if this gameplay is like fundamentally something you enjoy, I think you'll get a lot of fun out of Halo Infinite, to be quite honest. Feels like to a degree they're trying to meet somewhere for a happy middle ground between like some of the newer Halo styles and a lot of the old classics. Literally the best example of that is the somewhat pointless mechanic of sprint. I'm not saying it shouldn't be in the game, but it almost feels like sprint was added just insofar as the people who enjoy it can use it, but because it doesn't seem to really affect your movement speed all that much, to be honest, it's not one of those things that is like a fundamental gameplay change. Of course, this game can only be judged on the basis of a technical preview. This is not even really a beta, you know, it's not showing the plethora of content that will be added once the game is fully out. This game does by far have the best customization as far as your character of any Halo game. The Halo games in general have always been really good at that to begin with. One of the biggest differences, however, is Halo Infinite will be free to play when it does come out. We don't have a technical release date yet, and that's just something that they're going to announce probably later on. It's going to be sometime around the holidays, I'm sure. I'm also going to say this, it does happen to be my opinion. I really wish that Halo Infinite would at least attempt some kind of battle royale. I know that's somewhat of a controversial thing in the Halo community, but I think this game, as far as like other games that have done BRs, its fundamental gameplay is pretty much catered towards a battle royale mode when you really think about it. Halo has always had a solid like arena multiplayer formula, and whether or not you agree with some of the changes that have been made over the years, you can't deny that they at least have some competence insofar as making an arena shooter. But I do think a battle royale, while they would have to step outside their comfort zone a little bit, could be a quite interesting concept for Halo. Will we see it? Who really knows? But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of my opinions on Halo Infinite, as I know not everybody's able to play it at the moment, so if you're just kind of trying to gauge if this game is right for you, I hope this was able to shed at least a little bit of light on it, and if they do some kind of beta before launch, I'll definitely be playing that as well and see if any of my opinions from here change, and if anything significant gets added or, you know, adjusted as well. But I hope you guys did enjoy the video nonetheless. If you do, make sure to leave a like, subscribe also if you're brand new to the channel. I would love to know what your thoughts are on the game so far down below in the comment section, but I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next stream or the next video. Take it easy. I gotta go, and peace out.